This is Season 8, Episode 171 of the Stevens Transport Roadside Radio Podcast.
Sometimes the important thing is not the number of miles you've driven, but what's going on inside your head while driving. The Stevens Transport Roadside Radio Podcast will stimulate your mind and keep you company while on the road. Join us for education, motivation, and inspiration from wherever you may be in our nation. You'll hear roundtable discussions about important information that's impacting our industry. Plus, you'll learn more about new technology, equipment, driving opportunities, safety, and operations. Get driver success and fitness tips to keep you profitable, safe, healthy, as well as entertaining stories from the road. And don't you know, we've all got a few of those. We might be traveling in different directions, but we're all part of one driver community at the Stevens Transport Roadside Radio Podcast. With your host, trucker Tim Cicerelli.
Well, hello, friends. Happy holidays. Happy Hanukkah. Christmas is a week away. Whatever you're celebrating, we hope you're enjoying this holiday season. And I want to thank you for joining us for Season 8, Episode 171 of the Stevens Transport Roadside Radio Podcast. Tim Cicerelli here, otherwise known as Trucker Tim. And in this episode, we're talking safety a couple of times. So let's have our winter preparedness list ready. From the desk of Safety Supervisor Terrence Burgess, we have a reminder for you coming up. Also, coming up in a few moments, we're going to be speaking with a driver who's been behind the wheel with Stevens for almost 2 decades. He'll talk about the changes in the industry over the years, in the changes of Stevens Transport, and some words of advice and pearls of wisdom for some of our newer drivers to help them as they embark upon a new career with Stevens Transport. We're also going to pull some audio from a video you can find on our Stevens Transport YouTube channel about a driver who's been with Stevens for 5 years as an owner-operator. He has some incredible information for you if you think that might be the route you want to take with your career. We're going to tip that big 10-gallon Stevens cap in appreciation to somebody who has represented Stevens Transport with honor. But let's kick off this show as we talk a little bit more about safety and some of the improvements we've made here at Stevens Transport in our safety department with Ken Resta on our Stevens Roundtable. It's our Stevens Roundtable. You know, not too long ago, we introduced what at the time was a new staff member of Stevens Transport. How long has it been since we welcomed Kenneth Resta to Stevens Transport, our Senior Director of Safety? How long have you been with Stevens now?
So Kenneth started with Stevens in July of 23.
Wow, so it's been 2 years. The reason I bring your start time up, Ken, is because I remember when I think your first interview with us on the Stevens Transport Roadside Radio Podcast, we were discussing some safety results. And your job is to come in and increase those results in our favor. And you have done just that, from what I understand, in a very short amount of time.
You know, as it relates to our safety results, Tim, first and foremost, I want to say that you can't achieve good results without a quality team behind you, right? And then the ability to influence on a large scale, whether that is the operations folks who are carrying the message or whether that's directly to our drivers. And so I want to give credit to where we are today to, you know, those men and women behind the scenes who really are grinding the workout to do the briefings, to do the training, to do the follow-ups, right? And then to our drivers who are responding positively to what we're asking of them.
Yeah, it's boots on the ground right there.
Absolutely. And we see that continuous improvement in our results around the camera footage, right? Speeding events, red light compliance, stop sign compliance, following distance. We see those behavior elements improving and continuing to improve. And that speaks volumes to the receptance of our drivers and to the quality of conversations that we're having with our drivers, where they're now operating in a way that we would like them to operate. Right?
So Let's talk data. All right, so we're talking in vague terms, but you're noticing big changes for the positive in compliance with our drivers, with some of the principles that are expected of them when they're out there on the road, like you just mentioned. So what does the data say? What kind of numbers are we talking about as far as less accidents and citations? What do you have?
So I'll start with the not so positive side first.
Sure.
We have a lot of opportunity in the area of backing. Backing tends to be industry.
When you say a lot of opportunity, you mean room for improvement. Let's just call it what it is.
Exactly.
You don't need to sugarcoat it here.
So we have a lot of room for improvement in backing. And that's an industry-wide problem, is getting out and looking. The simplest of terms that's overused in the industry is get out and look. Yeah. But in reality, Tim, if drivers would, when the moment they become unsure of where they are in their space, is to just set them brakes for 90 seconds and get out and really take that look, we can probably prevent a majority of our backing accidents.
I mean, 90 seconds, what it takes to do the right thing. If something were to happen, you would have wished for those 90 seconds.
That's right.
Because now you got so much time wasted and money out the door.
That 90 seconds to get out and look can save you hours, if not days, of downtime. Mm-hmm. And it can save you, a pocket full of money. Because those kinds of damages, somebody has to pay for them, right? Mm-hmm. And really, it's the downtime that has the biggest effect on our drivers, having to call safety and then call claims, swap information, and then have follow up with the safety department. And so that 90 seconds to go back for a second is not a waste of time in the grand scheme of things, right?
Yeah.
So that's where our opportunities are. Now, when we talk about our performance on road, we mentioned our camera compliance. We mentioned our speeding reductions, right? Our red lights and stop signs. How that translates to crash rates is really what we're striving for. And I'm proud to sit here today and say that we have seen dramatic improvements in our intersection type collisions, in our on-road type collisions, the lane change, the side swipe. But most importantly, when it comes to the DOT collision, those are the crashes where someone is injured or towed or worse. And we've seen that number come down 40+% just in the last 18 months.
Huge.
Huge. And how that translates for us, when you talk about preventable DOT collision rates to other carriers, they become jealous of that number. And we're peaking just below 0.20. That would be considered best in class in the industry. And so we're proud to sit here today and tell you that we've achieved a best in class rating. Now, the work ahead of us still needs to be done. It still needs to stay on course, right? It's not as hard to get to the top as it is to stay there.
Isn't that the truth in anything in life? Yeah.
Small adjustments over time will improve the way that you operate on the road. Wow. And that starts with, let's not operate to the point where we have to have a conversation about your camera. If we have that conversation about your camera, how are you using that coaching to better yourself? Because ultimately we know when we look at that accident triangle, right, for every fatality, so many near misses will occur. If we reduce the near misses, we ultimately will reduce the number of times we're involved in those DOT events. And that's what we're seeing here that makes us real excited in safety. So,
well, congratulations to your team, to you, and most importantly to our drivers for following what needs to be done out there. Like I said, boots on the ground or wheels on the road, whatever it might be, and eyes all around. Best in class. Let's keep it that way.
Absolutely.
Ken Resta, Senior Director of Safety, thank you for the update, buddy. Always great to see you.
Thank you, Tim.
It's our driver's spotlight, and now we've got somebody who's been with Stevens for many, many, many years. How many years you been with Stevens Transport?
18 years.
18 years, you know that voice. It's Andres Sanchez III. 18 years, buddy. You must really like what you do, Andres.
It's fun. You're driving a big truck, right? I mean,
I know. What's not fun about that, right? We, as kids, we used to roll those trucks on the carpet, remember?
Exactly. As a kid, you roll all these trucks. I mean,
yeah.
You won't know until you physically get behind the wheel. But yeah, 18 years.
Pretty exhilarating. Let me ask you, in the 18 years that you've been driving, all for Stevens Transport?
Correct.
All right, all for Stevens Transport. And the reason I ask that question and qualify it that way is because we know that Stevens Transport is industry leading in providing their drivers with the best equipment and the best trucks. For you, for 18 years, you must have seen some incredible changes inside that cab and how you navigate that big old truck on the road.
Oh, yes. I came in here when the fleet were the old T2000s, the blue ones.
Mm-hmm. The blues, once upon a time, the trucks were blue. So.
Yeah, and I mean, it's amazing to see how time has flown by, but being able to see the whole yard, blue trucks, and now I'm seeing all black trucks, very upgraded. No doubt about it that Stevens provides the latest technology up to date.
Yeah, more than just how they look, of course, right? Which are beautiful, but the technology inside too. How has it been for you to adjust to the changes with the technology over the last now almost 2 decades?
It's not too bad. It's not one of my favorable. I've always been old-fashioned.
I'm with you, buddy. Yeah,
just simple tools, simple skills. But now it's having to adapt. But I mean, I can see the reason why we have to upgrade, and it's just to keep the company at high standards of having able to have skilled drivers. Yeah. And preventing accidents all year long.
That's what it comes down to, right? And a lot of that technology is designed to do just that, to mitigate the accidents, keep you safe, and keep the motoring public safe. For some of our younger drivers, or maybe somebody who's listening to this podcast who stumbled across it because they're doing their research and they're looking to determine which company to hitch their wagon to, like you have for the last 18 years, what advice would you give some of these new drivers about entering this industry and with Stevens Transport in particular?
Not to be afraid. You know, if it's something that gets your interest, why not? Give it a shot. And everything and anything can be done, regardless of the equipment, regardless of the technology. But if you just take your time to learn it, just take your time. That's all it is.
And follow the process, right? That's what I've heard.
The process, the procedures, whatever. And anyone can do any job as long as you dedicate yourself to put your mind to it. So
18 years you have behind the wheel. A great decision for your life? To spend your life?
It was a good learning. I grew up in the area, so I used to drive by and see it. And, when I came out of high school, I worked in warehouses to the day I became a truck driver. And truck drivers would tell me all the time, like, hey, why don't you become a truck driver? And I used to go out there, and I'm like, I don't know. It
looks
just
intimidating.
Took you 45 minutes to get into this dock. But some of these places, they were pretty hard to get into. And they're like, oh, it's not that bad. And I used to look at the truck and look at the trailer. I'm like, that's a big equipment for me to move. But once you're behind the wheel, it's not that bad.
Well, that qualifies what you said at the beginning is some of the advice that you want to give to some of the newer drivers is don't be afraid, because that was intimidating. You're like, oh my gosh, how am I going to navigate that big old monster?
Definitely.
But you've been doing it for 18 years, and now you could probably do it with your eyes closed. Don't, but you probably could, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you just got to make sure that, safety is always on your mind when driving this equipment.
Yeah.
They are big, they are heavy, and they are dangerous in the road.
Yeah.
But if you follow the protocols, the guidelines, it's not a problem. And you're going to make money.
And you're going to make money.
You just got to work hard to make money. I've been a company since day one, and I've always been pursued for contractor, but it never got to me where I was doing okay as a company. I mean, at least for me.
Sure.
If you're going to go for higher numbers, ownership, well, yeah, no doubt about it. But if you work just as hard,
as a company driver, you're saying?
Yeah, as a company driver, I've provided for my family since day one. And
that says it all right there.
Taking care of the kids, all by myself. And I still have money left over.
And I still have money left over every week. If that isn't the definition of success, I don't know what is. Andres Sanchez III, thank you so much for stopping by.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Enjoyed that conversation I had with Andres just a couple of months ago back at Driver Appreciation Week. Well, here we are, smack dab in the middle of the holiday season. Hanukkah is underway. Christmas is next week, and that means it's time for colder weather. So, from the desk of Safety Supervisor Terrence Burgess, I'd like to pass along some information he sends out on a weekly email, just some subtle reminders to keep you safe while out there on the road. This week, Terrence wants to remind you about winterizing your truck and yourself. Make sure that you have these items and perform these checks before hitting the road in extreme conditions, which we know is waiting for you this time of year. Anti-gel for fuel tanks. This prevents diesel from gelling in cold temperatures. Inspect your tires. Tire pressures change with temperature. Check the tread depth. Check your cooling system, inspect the hoses, the belts, and radiator for leaks. Extra blankets. This is part of winterizing yourself for warmth in case of delays or emergencies. Proper winter gear like your heavy jacket and your gloves and your winter cap, sweaters, and other things to keep your body warm. Non-perishable food and bottled water is a necessity for unexpected stops. And cat litter. Not just because you might be traveling with your cat, but of course it provides traction if you're stuck in a parking spot. Now, when do you decide to stop? We know that if the wheels aren't turning, you aren't earning. But if you're not alive, you're not earning either. So when do you decide to stop? Before you proceed, consider these factors. Of course, the weather conditions. Check where you are and where you're going. The road conditions. Review your current route and the route ahead. The time of day. Early mornings and evenings can mean slicker roads due to temperature drops. And driver reports. Talk to drivers coming from your intended direction. That's valuable information. And if any of these conditions are unfavorable, the safest decision is to stay in your safe haven until conditions improve. Again, that is a reminder from Safety Supervisor Terrence Burgess. All right, when we come back, another driver spotlight, some audio from a video you can find on the Stevens Transport YouTube channel. We're going to tip the big 10-gallon Stevens cap and wrap up episode 171 of the Stevens Transport Roadside Radio Podcast.
Now more than ever, truck drivers are true American heroes. The men and women who literally keep America moving by delivering goods across the country. Being a professional driver is a rewarding, financially lucrative, long-term career filled with exciting adventures. A career where you'll never have to worry about job security. If you have your CDL and keep it up, it will sustain you for the long haul. You can see the country, serve your country, and provide a good life for your family. Whether you'd rather haul on a dedicated route or lane, or prefer working with one specific customer, if you want to own your business, we have a program that sets you up for success with all the tools and support you need. We've got opportunities in our intermodal rail division and have programs to help military veterans transition into trucking careers. We have second generations of drivers whose parents have driven for Stevens, who then trained their children and are now truck drivers. Some are even small fleet owners. So, whatever your dream is, you can achieve it right here at Stevens. If you're looking for a company with a 40-plus year track record that's never had a layoff and just had the largest pay increase in company history for both new and experienced drivers, Stevens Transport has you covered. We offer the finest tools and technology and provide our drivers with the best state-of-the-art equipment on the market. Our infrastructure will support you both on and off the road. As a driver for Stevens, you become part of our family. Many companies throw the word family around. We're family-owned, family-run, and family-driven. Our 40-plus years of success is built on family. At Stevens, you're not just a number. Our drivers are part of our extended family, and we recognize and honor them every chance we get. If you want to be among the top income earners among professional drivers, if you want great benefits, if you want to have every type of driving opportunity at your fingertips, if you want to be part of a company that will stand behind you and ensure your success, come join the Stevens Transport family today and become an American hero. So, what are you waiting for? Take the first step toward your future career with the best trucking company in America. Become part of the Stevens Transport family today by calling our recruiting department at 1-800-333-8595 or apply online at stevenstransport.com.
Ever wondered what it's like to drive across the country and get paid to see America's breathtaking landscapes? Welcome to life as a team driver with Stevens Transport. The life of a trucker can sometimes feel solitary, but with team driving, you're never alone. Let's dive into how teaming up with another driver can transform your trucking career. So what exactly is team driving? Simply put, it's when two drivers share the responsibilities of operating the same truck. This allows for continuous travel and efficient delivery. Federal regulations require solo drivers to be off duty for at least 10 consecutive hours after 11 hours of driving. Team driving, however, maximizes productivity by alternating driving shifts, cutting down on overall trip times. By working in shifts, team drivers can cover over 5,500 miles a week. That's more than double what solo drivers can achieve, leading to more priority loads and higher earnings. Efficiency is key. With 2 drivers, tasks like loading and unloading become quicker and easier. Plus, you'll earn more per mile. One of the greatest perks? You get to choose your driving partner, whether it's a close friend or a new acquaintance. Having a partner on the road makes those long hauls more enjoyable. And what about rest? Team drivers sleep in comfy bunk beds while the truck is moving, allowing for nearly non-stop travel without sacrificing sleep. Safety is another major advantage. With 2 drivers, there's an added layer of oversight to ensure committed safety. So, if you're ready to take your trucking career to the next level, consider team driving with Stevens Transport. It's the perfect blend of companionship, efficiency, and increased earnings. Explore the benefits of team driving and start your adventure today with Stevens Transport. Apply now and join a team that drives you to success. Your journey starts here.
Welcome back to the Stevens Transport Roadside Radio Podcast. My name is Tim Cicerelli, otherwise known as Trucker Tim. If you wouldn't mind, when you hit your next stop, please follow or subscribe to this podcast from whichever podcast platform you're enjoying it from. We are everywhere. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible. If it's a platform with a podcast on it, we are there. And by following the podcast, you'll have a brand new episode waiting for you each and every week as soon as it's released. And if you wouldn't mind, please leave us a review. Tell us what you like about the show and what you'd like changed. We are producing this podcast for you to keep you educated, informed, and hopefully a little entertained as well. Time now for our driver spotlight. Some audio from a video you can find on our Stevens Transport YouTube channel. We'll have a link to this video in the episode notes. We're spotlighting an owner-operator of 5 years from Henderson, North Carolina. This driver's father sparked his passion for trucking, and Stevens Transport exceptional equipment showed him that he was in the right place. Now, as a proud truck owner, the reality still hasn't fully sunk in. Here's the story of driver Tommy Fawcett.
My name is Tommy Fawcett from Henderson, North Carolina, and I'm an owner-operator here at Stevens Transport. My dad. There was a lot of arm around the sun moments, I'm proud of you, boy. There was a lot of that. He drove for 35 years. I used to ride with him in the summers. He had me a custom uniform made with my name tag on it. And I still stop at some of the places that we used to stop at. Ken Restaurant in Hartford, Pennsylvania, right on 81. It's still open. The restaurant is never changed. It's still the same. And I go in there a lot, and I sit at the table that me, him, and all the other drivers would sit at, and I still sit in my seat because it's still there, never changed. I looked at Stevens. The equipment was gorgeous. They care. If you lease or you buy a truck or whatever, the maintenance department here has your back. The techs here on the yard are solid mechanics across the board. They are top-notch guys. I was green, and I went and leased my first truck. I signed that dotted line. I did not know what I was doing. And I learned as I went, and it worked. I signed a 2-year lease. I come back and inquired about lease purchase. They said, well, you have to be leased for a year, and I was already at a year. So I technically broke that lease, and they prorated my lease completion bonus to help me put the down payment on the truck. And what wasn't available in lease completion, I had. So I just finished it off and put the $4,000 down on my truck. And I just completed that lease purchase 4 years and got the title. It still hasn't sunk in yet. The first day that they put the new truck number on the truck, I did what all of us do. You park your truck and you'll sit in your driver's seat and you'll just decompress. And I'm there scrolling TikTok and I just keep glancing in my mirror and looking at the truck number on the new truck number. And I was like, I can't believe it. The business lessons I learned is don't get too caught up in what everybody else is saying about how many miles they're getting, what money they're making. You don't know if they're a trainer. You don't know if they're solo. You don't know their home situation back at home. But you do know yours and what it takes to pay your bills. Focus on that and just work hard and don't burn yourself out. My rule is about 2 to 240 miles. Then I pull over, I get out, check tires, do the thing, stretch your legs. I have a dog, so I walk the dog at the very least 3 times a day. And she's a glorious creature. She helped me get in better shape just from having to get out and walk her and all that. But you got to calm yourself. You got to take it easy and just take it one day at a time. I didn't get into this industry strictly for the paycheck. I got into this industry for the lifestyle, the travel, following in my dad's footsteps. And there was a couple of times where a truck would pull up to pass and it would be a truck like Dad used to drive. And they'd kind of pace me a little bit. And for that split second, it'd feel like I'm riding with my dad. And because he passed away about 9 years ago or so, I never got that. See, that means more to me than how much money I make. Do I make money here? Yes. Is it enough? Yes, it's enough for me. You make sure it's enough for you. Don't keep up with me. Don't keep up with anybody else. Keep up with yourself. And for that moment, I felt like I was riding with my dad. And it's just stuff like that, you can't put a price on it.
Thank you, Tommy, for sharing your story. Again, we will have a link in the episode notes to watch that video on YouTube. If you do jump over to the Stevens Transport YouTube channel, please don't forget to hit subscribe, so that way every time we have a new video released, you are notified. Now, from YouTube to Facebook, I'm pulling this off the Stevens Transport Facebook page, and if you're not following us on Facebook, what are you waiting for? On Facebook and Instagram, we'll have links in the episode notes for you to follow us there as well. But we want to talk a little transition trucking. Now that the dust has settled and the transition trucking awards are over, we wanted to tip the big 10-gallon cap in appreciation to someone who represented us very well over the last few months. We're talking about driver Mark Scriven. We want to say a public thank you, Mark, for being named a top 3 finalist and receiving the $10,000 prize is a massive achievement. But honestly, it's the character that you show every single day that impresses all of us the most. First and foremost, you served our country with honor. And now you serve this industry with that same dedication. Buddy, you are a true professional, a safe driver, and an incredible teammate. I have thoroughly enjoyed, Mark, having you on this podcast several times since the campaign started, and you are an incredible man. I got a chance to talk about your family a little bit, and again, you represented us very well, and we are honored to have you behind the wheel of a Stevens truck. So, Mark Scriven, here's to many more miles ahead as we tip our big 10-gallon Stevens cap in appreciation, my friend. Okay, pump the brakes. That'll do it for episode 171 of the Stevens Transport Roadside Radio Podcast.
If you found this podcast because you're searching for a brand new career, please make sure you visit the episode notes. We will have phone numbers and every link possible for you to learn more about Stevens Transport and even schedule a call with one of our recruiters. All the information is in the episode notes. And like we said earlier, please follow or subscribe to this podcast from whichever platform you're enjoying it from and share it with one of your fellow drivers. We sure would appreciate it. And finally, my name is Tim Cicerelli, otherwise known as Trucker Tim. Thanks for joining me. And until next time, be safe out there. And thanks for listening to the Stevens Transport Roadside Radio Podcast.